The Berlin Wall was a powerful symbol of the Cold War. It stood for 28 years, dividing a city, a nation and the world. From 1961 to 1989, this concrete barrier represented the ideological clash between East and West. Its fall in 1989 marked a pivotal moment in history. The world watched in astonishment as the seemingly impenetrable barrier crumbled, paving the way for German reunification and signaling the decline of Soviet influence. The Berlin Wall's legacy is complex. It serves as a reminder of the human cost of division and the suppression of freedom. Yet its fall also embodies the power of hope, resilience and the pursuit of liberty. The events of November 9, 1989 continue to resonate, reminding us of the fragility of peace and the importance of tearing down walls, both physical and metaphorical. To understand the fall of the Berlin Wall, we must first understand its origins. After World War II, Germany was divided into 4 sectors, controlled by the Allied victors, the United States, Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, though located deep within the Soviet sector, was also divided. This arrangement, intended to be temporary, soon solidified as tensions between the West and the Soviet Union escalated, marking the beginning of the Cold War. The stark contrast between the capitalist West Berlin and the communist East Berlin became increasingly apparent. West Berlin, supported by the Western Allies, flourished economically and politically. East Berlin, under Soviet control, faced economic stagnation and political repression. Millions of East Germans, seeking better lives, fled to the West, primarily through Berlin, creating a crisis for the East German government. Life in East Berlin under Soviet rule was a stark contrast to the burgeoning freedom and prosperity experienced in West Berlin. The communist government, under the Socialist Unity Party, controlled all aspects of life. Citizens faced constant surveillance, censorship, and limited opportunities. The economy lagged behind the West, with shortages of consumer goods and limited personal freedoms. Many East Berliners felt trapped, longing for the freedoms enjoyed by their counterparts in the West. The constant flow of refugees westward served as a constant reminder of the disparities and fueled growing discontent with the East German regime. This yearning for freedom and opportunity would eventually reach a boiling point, setting the stage for the dramatic events of 1989. East German protester, we felt like prisoners in our own country, constantly watched and deprived of basic rights. The West seemed like a distant dream, a place where freedom and opportunity were real. The 1980s witnessed a confluence of factors that weakened the Soviet grip on Eastern Europe. Economic stagnation within the Soviet Union, coupled with the costly arms race with the West, strained their resources. Meanwhile, a new wave of reformist leaders emerged within the Soviet bloc, led by Mikhail Gorbachev in the USSR. Gorbachev's policies of glasnost, or openness, and perestroika, or restructuring, aimed to revitalize the Soviet system, but inadvertently unleashed forces that would ultimately lead to its demise. Across Eastern Europe, popular movements demanding democratic reforms gained momentum. In Poland, the Solidarity trade union led by Lech Walesa challenged communist rule. In Hungary, the government began dismantling its border with Austria. These events sent shockwaves through the Eastern Bloc, emboldening East Germans to demand change. Young East German, we saw what was happening in other countries, and it gave us hope. We realized that change was possible, and we were ready to fight for our future. November 9th, 1989, the night the wall began to crumble. The night of November 9th, 1989 began like any other in Berlin. Unbeknownst to the world, events were already in motion that would change the course of history. East German officials had been working on new travel regulations in response to growing pressure from their own citizens, and the wave of reforms sweeping across Eastern Europe. However, a series of misunderstandings and miscommunications would turn a bureaucratic announcement into a moment of spontaneous jubilation and the beginning of the end for the Berlin Wall.
That evening, I, Günter Schabowski, the party boss of East Berlin, held a hastily arranged press conference. I was tasked with announcing the new travel regulations, which were intended to be limited and controlled. However, I appeared unprepared and fumbled my way through the announcement. When pressed by reporters about when the new regulations would take effect, I uttered the now famous words, "As far as I know, it takes effect immediately, without delay."
Günter Schabowski's gaffe, a misunderstanding, heard round the world. Schabowski's statement, broadcast live on West German television, sent shockwaves through both East and West Berlin. East Germans, initially skeptical, flocked to the border crossings, demanding to cross into West Berlin. Border guards, caught off guard and without clear instructions, were overwhelmed by the influx of people. Faced with the choice of using force or opening the gates, they chose the latter.
The scenes that unfolded that night were nothing short of euphoric. East and West Berliners embraced, tears of joy streaming down their faces. Strangers danced on top of the wall, chipping away at the concrete with hammers and chisels. The once imposing barrier, a symbol of oppression and division, had become a stage for celebration and reunification.
It was a night of pure, spontaneous joy. People from both sides came together, united in their desire for freedom and unity. The world watched in awe as the Berlin Wall, once an unyielding symbol of division, crumbled under the weight of the people's will.
Section 7, Freedom's Gate. The wall opens, reuniting a city. The opening of the Berlin Wall on November 9, 1989, was a moment of pure joy and disbelief. Families separated for decades were reunited. The concrete barrier that had divided a city, a nation, and the world for 28 years was breached, not by force, but by the sheer will of the people. It was a testament to the power of human aspirations for freedom and unity.
The world watched in awe as the events unfolded. Images of East and West Berliners embracing, dancing on the wall, and chipping away at its concrete with hammers and chisels were broadcast around the globe. The fall of the Berlin Wall became a symbol of hope, a testament to the belief that even the most formidable barriers can crumble when confronted by the unyielding spirit of freedom. Section 8. The Fall of the Wall, a catalyst for change. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not merely a symbolic victory. It set in motion a chain reaction that would reshape the geopolitical landscape of Europe and the world. It marked the beginning of the end for the Cold War, as the Soviet Union, weakened by internal strife and external pressure, could no longer maintain its grip on Eastern Europe. Within a year, Germany was reunified, and other Soviet satellite states in Eastern Europe broke free from communist rule. The fall of the Berlin Wall demonstrated the power of peaceful protest and the universal yearning for freedom and self-determination. Section 9. A World Transformed. The Legacy of November 9th. The legacy of the Berlin Wall's fall extends far beyond Germany. It serves as a potent reminder of the human cost of division, the fragility of peace, and the importance of dialogue and understanding. It also stands as a beacon of hope, reminding us that even the most seemingly insurmountable barriers can be overcome. The events of November 9th, 1989, continue to inspire people around the world who strive for freedom, democracy, and human rights. The fall of the Berlin Wall reminds us that change is possible, that walls can be torn down, and that a more united and peaceful world is within our reach. Section 10, Conclusion: Echoes of Freedom, the Berlin Wall's enduring message. The Berlin Wall, once a symbol of oppression and division, is no more. Yet its legacy endures, reminding us of the enduring human spirit and the transformative power of hope, courage, and the pursuit of freedom. The fall of the wall was a testament to the belief that change is possible, that even the most formidable barriers can crumble when confronted by the unyielding desire for liberty and unity. The echoes of that momentous night in November 1989 continue to resonate, inspiring us to tear down walls, both physical and metaphorical, that divide us. The Berlin Wall may be gone, but its message of hope, resilience, and the universal yearning for freedom remains as relevant as ever.